Hell of a thing happens, well, semi-often. We have a racist woman who appeals to the cops after attacking black children. You must hear her explanation. Here it is.
You break out my window, you're getting a felony charge. You understand that?
You're a real hard ass. Hear that?
Do you understand?
Now you're what, 21?
No.
What? You're 22.
No, I'm 35.
Oh, hard ass. Oh.
So you were just riding your bike and she just pushed you off willy-nilly? 36, if you could step it up. She's trying to break out my window. Give me just a second, guys.
Oh, you think you're getting somewhere?
Stop!
No!
Stop!
Don't let me
Stop!
get me a minute!
No!
No!
You need to stop. Act like a grown-up.
I'm
How old are you?
trying to.
Relax and I will come talk to
You're
you.
giving all these children a minute to...
Correct, because they're the alleged victims, so you need
And
to
I
relax.
was here to like
You need to relax.
I was on their
You need
side.
to relax.
I was on their
You need
side.
to relax. I will come talk
That's
to you
not fair.
and get everything figured out. But right now, you need to relax and act like an adult.
That's not fair.
Do you understand?
No, I don't. They're terrorists.
The same black children that she said she was on the side of are the same black children she then contextualized as terrorists. Put her full mask. She's in the back of that police car because she allegedly attacked black girls. A resurfaced bodycam video from earlier this year shows a woman arrested in the state of Florida following a racist outburst in which she chased and attacked, according to the allegation, black children and called them racial slurs, making it, well, a hate crime in most jurisdictions. The footage shows the aftermath. This took place March 29th, when officers arrived at the scene in a Sarasota community. They immediately took the woman into custody in front of multiple witnesses. The woman loudly protested her detainment, telling the cop to, quote, shut up before did pleading with the police to hear her state her case. When she's placed in the back of the patrol vehicle, she begins to cry tears and dispute her arrest, begging the police to let her tell a side of the story. So one officer begins interviewing the witnesses who tell them they saw a white woman chase a group of black children, throw items at them, shove a couple of them, and call them the N-word. The witnesses who saw the attack say they rushed over to stop the woman before calling the police to the scene. Now, let me say this. I appreciate the officer for understanding who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, to give the context, because that's primary. Typically, the black individual, even if they happen to be a child, they will get the adverse side or adverse narrative and not the benefit of the doubt. This case had some different nuances. It had witnesses, you had clear minors involved, and you had an individual who was irate and seemingly out of control, easy to decipher. But still, even in that condition, even with the police making a conclusion, this person has abused children, there are multiple witnesses that this person has abused children. The individual is non-cooperative. The individual is aggressive against the police. And he said, if you bust my window out, I'm going to charge you with a felony. Now, why all of the warnings from the officer? I want you to imagine a black male attacking white children, calling them racial slurs. Multiple witnesses have said so, and the black male refuses to get inside of the vehicle. That black male tries to bust the window out and gets warned, hey, if you do that, I'm going to charge you with a felony. Unheard of. There's more. So one officer begins to interview witnesses who tell them that they saw the white woman doing exactly that, chasing black children, throwing items at them, calling them the N-word. Classic racism. One young black girl tells police that she was riding her bike when the woman grabbed her by the side of her neck and pushed her to the ground. The child's guardians also told police the assault left the child with visible scars and bruises. The footage cuts back and forth from officers taking down witness accounts to conversations with the woman in handcuffs. At one point, the woman is heard telling an officer that she feels entitled to say the N-word because her children are being raised in the same community or neighborhood. Quote, so what happened today? What happened? Why are we here? The officer asked. Quote, they're terrorists. End quote. The woman responds. The irony of that statement. An adult who is literally terrorizing black children has been arrested by white officers for doing so. Multiple adult witnesses proclaim the same narrative as the children, and she calls them terrorists and is the only individual engaged in violence. And she believes every word of it. It's that part. There's no gaslighting. You see, gaslighting requires that you not be ignorant of the thing you're gaslighting. She is so indoctrinated and in love with that white epidermis that the narrative fits because, according to her, everyone else is subhuman. You see, this is another way to contextualize that idea. Another way. Proxy would be undocumented individuals, illegals, aliens, etc. Or how about this one? Criminal. That's another way they do it as well. We're all human beings. Every single one of us. Now, she then begins, according to the narrative, rambling about how she pays taxes, okay, and has been to jail before then making other nonsensical statements. As police read her Miranda rights and disclose the exact charges that will be filed against her, she begins crying and claiming she hasn't done anything wrong. She protests the charges, then starts swearing at the officers, insulting the officers. Quote, why am I being charged with anything involving a child? The woman says, visibly shocked, authentically shocked, it seems. Quote, because you pushed one child and you pushed another child against the fence. The officer answers, quote, but I have not touched a child. I have not once touched a child, the woman yells. During the drive to jail, she continues to belittle the officer driving her to the facility. She also admits that she's been jailed before for drug possession and has substance abuse issues. In the bodycam footage, police stated that they would charge her with 2 counts of felony child abuse, disorderly intoxication, and resisting arrest. Those are the proper charges to fix. Once again, I appreciate the men and women of law enforcement that day for getting it right. Senator Turner, even with this being a really simple case, egregious against the children, obviously multiple witnesses, you have an out of control individual on the scene, this is an easy call. She was still handled with a care that a black male or black woman would have typically never received.
Yeah, amen to that, Doc. I was thinking the same thing. And it's not that we want her to be abused. We don't want her to be abused.
That's right.
We want black folks to be treated like she was treated.
Right.
Because that officer, I mean, just spectacular. There have been lots of moments, but Doctor, do you see how much evidence Black people need to prove that we were transgressed?
Right.
We need a whole lot. And thank God that we live in the era of smartphones. And even then, sometimes people question what the phone or the recording was able to pick up. But I just want our audience to wrap their minds around how much evidence it takes. We have the type of technology in the 21st century that some of our foremothers and forefathers who are still walking this earth in their late 70s, 80s, and 90s never had the benefit of, and then their parents and their parents' parents never had that benefit. And even then, her relative status, the culture of, what did I write down? I wrote the culture of privilege, but her relative status, as you laid out, to whiteness was the most important thing to her, and it was on display. Before you gave the summary about her being a substance abuser, I was thinking that too. I was thinking two things: either the woman is truly touched, or she owns some stuff. But there is no way, unless those officers are just exemplary, and I hope that they are, that they would have comported themselves in the exact same way in terms of the care that they did with this white woman, that they would have done that with somebody that was Black or another person of color. The fact that she felt the need to call those children terrorists, again, is another, it's subliminal, Doc, it's subconscious. You and I always talk about these macro and micro aggressions. It's in all of us. And so to the extent that the Eurocentric worldview predominates, a lot of white folks don't understand, well, why did I say that? Or why did I do that? And then it's just in you. And so unless you deconstruct your construction, it is how we are all socialized in America by default. It's like the factory default in the United States of America. And my last point, why is it, Doc, that some white people get so giddy over being able to use, they just want to use the N-word? I don't understand that. I think I need a psychologist to come in here and help me to understand why some of them feel as though they need to have the right to use that word.
Because they believe that word somehow empowers them. And the only reason they believe that is because they are authentically small and not empowered. And that becomes the fear. You're right about the subconscious. Anything that is constructed must have an intentional deconstruction.
Come on.
In order to neutralize. All right, we'll bring you updates if there's an update to bring.